Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. Another week done and dusted, thank God. But look, the news doesn't stop when it comes to Manchester United, as you know. And a lot of rumours going around the past couple of days about potentially big marquee signings for United. So we're going to talk about the main one. It's not necessarily the last 24 hours. It was the day before yesterday, actually. But a lot of people talking about it, growing a little bit of legs, but I think we're going to throw a bit of cold water on it in relation to who we're talking about here. As you know, if you know by the title of the video, I also want to talk about Aaron Masaka. Some interesting reports coming out about potential interest from Premier League clubs in relation to him as well. And I'm going to call out one journalist over it as well. We're also going to talk about Mason Greenwood a little bit and why his potential transfer away from Manchester United in the summer is vital to us actually going and reinvesting it into the transfer market. I'm going to talk about Casemiro as well, and reports are coming out in the last few hours that Al Nassr want to sign him to the Saudi Arabian League, and he'd be back with his former teammate Ronaldo as well, so we'll talk about that. And we're also talking about our centre-backs. We know Manchester United are desperate for new centre-backs in the summer. And one of our main targets has now been linked with Bayern Munich as well. So we're not going to have it all our own way. But wanted to be as interactive as possible tonight, guys. So get as many comments into the chat as you can. And we'll go through it. Any questions, any comments that you have, keep the chat flowing and we'll get straight into it. But obviously, look, I want to start with the main one. Anybody who seen the title of the video, it's in relation to Vinicius Jr. Now, Manchester United supposedly is the key word here, are willing to pay £130 million for Vinicius Jr. as Real Madrid consider a sale to fund the Kylian Mbappe transfer. Now, I think, first and foremost, I don't think United are going to buy Vinicius Jr. Second of all, I don't think he would want to go to Manchester United at all, given the fact that we won't be in the Champions League next year. It looks like we won't be in the Champions League next year. You would never say never. And second of all, I don't think Real Madrid need to sell Vinicius Jr. to fund the Kylian Mbappe transfer, because the Kylian Mbappe transfer is going to be free. Now, of course, we're not that naive, and the fact that Kylian Mbappe is moving on a free transfer means he's going to be getting mega bucks from Real Madrid, because they don't have to pay a transfer fee for him, so they can give him more money. They can give him a sign-on bonus. I think we'll go down through the article. It is coming from the Metro. Real Madrid are open to selling Manchester United target Vinicius Jr. in order to fund a deal for Kylian Mbappe. The Brazilian has been a revelation at the Bernabeu since joining from Flamengo in 2018. The 24-year-old has hit double figures in each of the last 3 seasons and has scored 68 goals in 238 appearances for the club. Madrid had considered Vinicius to be untransferable, but the club remain intent on signing Kylian Mbappe. The Frenchman would take Vinicius' position on the left flank, and though he will likely sign on a free transfer at the end of the season, he would become the best paid player in the world at the Bernabeu. Mbappe would be looking for wages north of £600,000 a week. And though Madrid would be saving on a transfer fee, the annual costs of signing the Frenchman would be around 30 million. Over the span of Mbappe's contract, that would mean an outlay of at least 150 million for him. It could be good news for Manchester United, who are said to be willing to pay 130 million for the Brazilian. Whether Vinicius would be willing to move to United without the prospect of Champions League football remains a different matter. United are currently 8 points off of fourth. Yeah, we don't need you telling us that. So anyway, look, Vinicius Jr. to Manchester United. I think everyone would be in agreement here. What a signing it would be for Manchester United if we could pull off something like this. Let's pour cold water on it right now. It ain't going to happen. Manchester United are not going to sign Vinicius Jr. I think the money would be too much in terms of a transfer fee, in terms of wages. If Real Madrid are going to be looking at, over the space of, 5 years for Mbappe, they're talking about 150 million. I mean, you would be probably talking something similar for the likes of Vinicius Jr. And we would have to pay a transfer fee on top to get him, So I just think the finances are not there, and I don't think it will be happening. And to be honest with you, it's not the type of signings I want to see Manchester United going out and getting. We've seen this on numerous occasions over the last 10 years. And yes, it may be different now with, Jim Ratcliffe coming in and, so on and so forth. But I want to see a different kind of approach from Manchester United. I want us to get his young, hungry. Now, look, that's not to say this guy isn't. He's a world-class footballer. And if we could get him, I'd be happy. But I don't want us spending 130 million on Vinicius Jr. and not being able to buy 2 centre-backs, a centre midfielder, and a striker on top of that as well. I would rather us keep that 130 million and get 4 or 5 players in for the same amount of money, or maybe a little bit more. And I think that's where we have to be really smart over the next few transfer windows and not try and blow it on a major, marquee signing. He might move in 10 years' time when he's Vinicius Sr. That's a good one. I'm going to use that, Finn. That's a very good one. Desi says, what a signing if it would be true. B says, as I agree, we're not going for Junior, but if we were in talks for a big winger, would that just show we are pushing Rashford out? Well, maybe so. And I think Rashford has to be very careful, because the inconsistencies that he's shown throughout his career at Manchester United need to plateau a little bit. We can't have a brilliant season and then a terrible season, a brilliant season. We've had to have a little bit of consistency with Rashford when it comes to, his overall career. Danny says, I can't believe a player like him would leave Real Madrid to come to United. We can't afford him. Plus, he's a massive part of them. This is complete rubbish, in my opinion. I think so too, Danny. The one, I suppose, sliver of hope that you would, not even hope, because even if he left Real Madrid, he wouldn't be coming to United. He'd probably end up at Man City or somewhere like that. But I think there could potentially be a chance over the next few years that he does leave. Mbappe is coming in. He's going to play on that left-hand side where Vinicius Jr. plays. I don't know. Does he do a kind of a Garnacho on it and move over to the right for Real Madrid? I don't know. But it certainly is something to keep a close eye on. Desi says, you never know. Jack Radcliffe could have a trick up his sleeve. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it, given the financial fair play restrictions we have. Hang tight. There might be a lot of City players on the market soon when they get relegated. Maybe so. I don't want any of them. Fuck them. Let them all rot down in the Championship. Finn says, he's probably one of the few players around that's worth that kind of dough. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I was actually surprised to hear he's 24 years of age. He still seems like that kind of up and coming young kid but he's been around for a long time, in fairness, like he's been with Madrid for 6 years now nearly. Reece says, sadly, Niall, they're not being fully checked until October after this season. Next January window, says Niall. Probably put Mbappe striker. They don't have one. Maybe so. But anyway, let's move on from talking absolute nonsense in relation to who we could potentially sign and talk about a potential outgoing for Manchester United. And it's in the right back area. Let me just throw my chair a little bit. It's in the right back area and it's in relation to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, Samuel Luckhurst, and this is the guy that I'm calling out as well. I don't like this lad. But anyway, he does say Crystal Palace and West Ham have both inquired about Aaron Wan-Bissaka over a potential move in the summer. He goes on to write in his article, which I think is absolute. I think he's a scumbag of a journalist. Staff have struggled to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka to engage with in-house media commitments, never mind with dedicated reporters. This guy, this Samuel Luckhurst, Jesus. Let me get him up on the screen. This guy, right? When you see this guy, all right? What a little weasel. I'm telling you. Let me get him up on the screen. Where is he? Look at him. Look at the state of him. Right? This guy was one of the journalists that was banned from Eric Ten Hag's press conference, and ever since he's had a vendetta about just making up absolute nonsense about Manchester United and trying to create drama and trying to create, these bullshit stories about United. And to put in your article that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, United are struggling to get him to engage with in-house media commitments is absolute shite. Paul Scholes played with Manchester United for 25 years, pretty much, and very, very rarely done an interview. Some players just don't like to do it. Aaron Wan-Bissaka seems to be a very shy, a very, quiet professional footballer that just gets on about playing football and training and working hard and so on and so forth. And for this little weasel to try and make a big deal about it, I mean, just look at the head on him. You know what I mean? Just look at the head on him. I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the actual crux of the story. Aaron Wan-Bissaka potentially leaving Manchester United. I don't want it to happen. I want Aaron Wan-Bissaka to stay. I think he's a fantastic defender, an old school defender. We know he's got his limitations going forward. However, I do fear for his future at Manchester United because Erik ten Hag has been quite adamant throughout the last 18 months that he's been manager that he wants to bring in a right back, an established right back to really hold down that position. And we know that Diogo Dalot has just got a new contract last season. Was it before? Was it in the summer or at the end of last season? New 5-year deal. So it doesn't look like Dalot's going anywhere. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka would be the right back on the chopping block if we do decide to get rid of one and bring in another. I would hate to see him leave. He's one of the only old school fullbacks left. I played fullback for years and I love it. And I love tackling. I love, the art of defending. I love timing, your tackles. I love heading, all of that kind of stuff. And Wan-Bissaka just epitomizes the old school fullback more than anything else. And over the last few years, he's probably been the best 1v1 defender in the world. I mean, I struggle to think of another defender that would be harder to get past than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And look, we know he's got his limitations going forward. Of course he does. But yeah, I would be very disappointed to see him go. I really would. Niall says, love Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but going forward, he's not good enough, unfortunately. Yeah, look, I understand that, Niall. Me wanting Aaron Wan-Bissaka to stay would be as a backup right back more than anything else. When you're going up against, your Mbappes or your Vinicius Juniors or, whoever it may be on that left-hand side, if you're in the Champions League or, you're getting to later stages of competitions and you need a fucking proper defender, he's the man for the job more than anything else. It's disappointing. I would like for Dalot to have his defensive capabilities and I would like him to have Delot's attacking capabilities. There just seems to be inadequacies for both players. Reece says he looks like a 13-year-old for the confirmation. Danny says, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a very good player and I'd like United to keep hold of him. He's the best right back, but if Wan-Bissaka wants to leave, then we should accept that instead of forcing him to stay. I agree, absolutely. But I think it's actually Man United are probably looking to move him on more so than anything else. He looks like that teacher that gets bullied at school. He bypassed puberty. Desi says Aaron Wan-Bissaka should stay. I think he's our best wing back. Yes, he is getting on with age, but be madness to sell right now. Watching a TikTok earlier of Aaron Wan-Bissaka against PSG, he was a beast that night. He was. He really, really was, wasn't he? And I think you need them type of players in your team. Now, it may only be that, if Wan-Bissaka stayed as a backup right back, that he's here for, he plays maybe 10 to 15 games a season. When you need him against the big teams, against your Martinellis or against your, I don't know, Jack Grealish's for City or, whoever at Liverpool Diaz has on that left-hand side, or, if you're playing in the Champions League against, I don't know, fucking Kingsley Coman or, Vinicius Jr, Mbappe, these types of players. I think every team needs a player like that. But anyway, look, let's see what happens. It's not going to be in January. It will be potentially in the summer. But it does look like a big overhaul in relation to the defence in the summer. I mean, there's talks of 2 out, 2 in at centre-back, potentially. We're talking about right-back then as well, with potentially Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaving and a new right-back coming in. So, yeah, I mean, look, let's see what happens. I think it will be a big overhaul in the summer more than anything else. I want to move it on, though, guys. I want to talk about Mason Greenwood a little bit. And not in the circumstances of him potentially coming back to Manchester United, because I don't think he will be. But how and why Mason Greenwood will prove key to Manchester United's summer transfer window. And this is a report coming out. Who's it from? I'm not sure who it's from. Mason Greenwood is set to play a crucial part in Man United's summer plans without ever returning to Old Trafford. The 22-year-old, currently on loan at La Liga side Getafe, is expected to be sold this summer, having left the club last summer in a spat of controversy. The forward has not played for United since being suspended by the club. Blah, 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 blah. Charges. He agreed a loan deal with Getafe, followed with the forward only completing the move in the final hours of the summer transfer window. While it is not clear where Greenwood will play once his loan move expires at the end of the season, it is clear he will not be resuming his career at Manchester United. United are believed to be planning his sale, which, from a purely sporting perspective, will prove a huge boost to the club's plans this summer. As an academy graduate, any outbound fee received for Greenwood will be purely classified as income in financial fair play reporting, as there is no inbound fee to counter it. United never paid a fee to sign Greenwood, ensuring his eventual sale would constitute instant profit. However, the 22-year-old will have 12 months remaining on his contract by July, though the club reserves the right to extend this by an additional year should they wish. Old Trafford officials are thought to be hesitant to do this, however, given the optics involved. This will somewhat limit the club's ability to command a fee commensurate with Greenwood's talent. The forward is realistically a £100 million player on footballing ability alone. With the current situation factored in, United should be hoping to achieve 50% of this valuation. Look, it is a shame given the fact that everything has happened. Like Mason Greenwood, that report I think is right, that he is 100% a £100 million player given the talent that the boy has. I think it's the right decision that he won't be returning to Manchester United, but all of the background noise that surrounds him, given everything that's happened, the fact that he will only have 1 year left on his contract, like the report says, United are going to be looking for around 50 million for him. Now, 50 million for a player of Greenwood's talent, while it might be, we're going to be getting our pants pulled down by allowing him to leave for that amount. I think the fact that the fact that 50 million coming in will be pure profit it would be a massive boost to the United's books, and will allow us to reinvest that and will really, really ease the burden for financial fair play. We've been seeing it now with some of the fringe players and the academy players going out on loan with the options to buy, and the options to buy are decent money. You're talking 15, 20 million for some of the academy players, which is good. And all of these academy players will be pure profit if they do eventually be sold. And, when it comes to the academy players, fans can get very sentimental about academy players. And I think, while that is understandable, we do have to kind of get the sentimentality away. Some of these players, the majority of these players that are being let go on loan with potential options to buy, are probably not good enough to get into the Manchester United squad. Now, we always say, don't we, give the youth a chance. Give the youth a chance. But we have to realise we have been giving youth a chance at Manchester United. Look at Kobe Mainoo. Look at Garnacho. Look at Cambuala coming in, making his debut as well. Pellistri has played an awful lot of games as well. Hannibal, who's gone out on loan. The option and the chance to play in the first team is there. But if the players are not good enough, loan with, and potentially a full transfer with some good money coming in for them is the right thing to do. And like we said before, an academy player being sold is pure profit, and it will really help towards the financial fair play regulations. Again, I don't want to see any academy player sold. I would love them all to be coming in and, taking over the first team. But we have to be realistic as well. And the majority of them are not going to be good enough. And the one or two real stars will eventually make it. And I think that's always going to be the case. I really do. Let's see. Danny says we should sell him. There's a lot of interest in him, so we could get top dollar for him, which could go towards our budget in rebuilding the club. Absolutely. And you would hope as well then, Danny, that, if there is multiple clubs involved, you might get a little bit of a bidding war then as well. Niall says has to be worth 100 million. P says 100 million question mark. He scored like 25 goals in his career. Yeah, he did, but he also missed pretty much probably 2 years of his career, 18 months to 2 years of his career, and he's only 22 years of age. So you do the math on that one. He is 100% on talent alone worth 100 million. If I was a betting man, I would bet on Greenwood going to another loan and then on a free. I don't think Manchester United will allow that, to be honest with you, because all we'll have to do is trigger the 1-year extension clause we've got in his contract. That would allow us to have 2 years then to find him a club. So I think Manchester United, have the power when it comes to this transfer window. Gary is in as well. Good to see you, Gary. So yeah, look, let me know what you think, and what we'll actually do is we'll do a poll here and see what you guys think. No, we'll do a poll. Should United sell Greenwood? Let me know what you think. Get your votes in. I think we should sell him. I think it's the right thing to do. And I think, like I said, it will hopefully bring in some top money that we can then go on and invest in the transfer market. Speaking of getting big money in for certain Manchester United players, reports today are suggesting that Al Nassr want to sign £60 million Erik ten Hag buy at the request of Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's that guy right there, Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro. So reports today are suggesting that Saudi Pro League Al Nassr want Manchester United midfielder Casemiro after Cristiano Ronaldo requested the signing, according to reports. Casemiro was signed by Ten Hag for 60 million in August 2022 after the Dutchman failed to bring in Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. There's been a lot of speculation surrounding Casemiro's future in England, with interest coming from Saudi Arabia. Despite his impact last term and his sharp decline, means Erik ten Hag is open to selling this month. I don't believe that, but let's read on. It is unclear how much United will be able to make from the sale of Casemiro, but getting him off the wage bill will probably be good enough for Ten Hag and Radcliffe. Talk of an exit has quietened down in recent weeks, but it has been reported by Foot Mercato that Al Nassr superstar Ronaldo has requested they sign his former United and Real Madrid teammate. The main focus of the report is Sesco Fofana, who can leave Al Nassr in the January transfer window to free up space for another foreign player. It is believed that the plan is to add goalkeeper David Ospina, but the report claims the Saudi club want to sign Casemiro at the request of Ronaldo. A boost for all parties is that Casemiro is interested in taking on the challenge in the Middle East. Should a 31-year-old move to the Saudi club, he will be joining a league more competitive than League One, according to Ronaldo. But anyway, look, Casemiro leaving Manchester United, while it may be on the cards, I don't think it's on the cards in the near future. I think minimum summer. I don't see I don't see how in a month of Sundays we could let Casemiro go, given how our season has gone so far and given how light we are in that midfield area, especially at defensive midfield. We've all been waiting for Casemiro to come back, as has Erik ten Hag. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if we were to let him go in this January transfer window. In the summer, that remains to be seen. I think, obviously, you probably could get in some good money for him. You probably could recoup the vast majority of that 60 million, I would think, specifically because it's Saudi Arabia that are going to be, looking to buy him. But if you were to get 50 million for Casemiro, happy days, reinvested, get in a younger, established DM, and, bring the average age of your team down quite significantly. P says, then it's 2 years worth of loans and then a free. He's damaged goods. Well, if he was damaged goods, he wouldn't have gone on loan. Nobody would have wanted him. So we'll have no problem getting rid of Mason Greenwood. There's already been reports that Barcelona Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and I think there's a team in Germany as well, have all been interested in him. Patrick says, no, they should not sell Greenwood. Naya says, agent Ronaldo. Danny says, I think United should be keeping Casemiro. Players like him can't be replaced. It will be sad to see him go, but every player we can get rid of and off the books will help us in rebuilding the club. Reece says, 45 to 50 million. I'd be happy. And P says, never in a million years will Greenwood play for those teams. Well, why wouldn't he? I mean, if they're interested in him, I don't see why he wouldn't. You know, we know how loose the Italians are in relation to scandals and things like that. So they have no problem with players playing for them like that. Atletico Madrid, I don't think would have any issue either. And Barcelona are not, I suppose, the most professional club in the last few years and how they've been treating their players and, trying to, not pay wages and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think you're wrong on that one. But anyway, look, everybody to their own. Guys, we're going to finish up talking about a potential centre-back for Manchester United. And it's one that we've been linked with even going back to the summer, and it's Jean-Claude Todibo. Now, reports have suggested today that Bayern Munich have entered the race and are considering an approach for the player. While we're yet to enter the year, whatever that is all about. Anyway, this is kind of one of them nonsense reports that talk about a lot of rubbish, bar the actual headline. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about centre-backs an awful lot lately. And like we said previously, a few moments ago, that it does look like United are going to have to go into the transfer market quite heavily when it comes to centre-backs. And I think it all depends on how many we can get rid of before how many we can buy in the summer. We do know that Victor Lindelof has had a year extension on his contract. Is that so we can get some money for him in the summer and sell him on? That remains to be seen. Are we again going to try and get rid of Harry Maguire like we did last summer? Varane, his 1 year extension hasn't been triggered. United do want to offer him an extension, but they want it to be a new contract on lower wages and lower terms. So it remains to be seen whether he signs that or not. So Manchester United are going to be looking at a minimum of two central defenders in the transfer window in the summer, I think. And this guy certainly is up there with one of them. Now, we do know the links between, Todibo and Manchester United, given the fact that, Jim Ratcliffe owns Nice and he's going to own 25% of United in another couple of weeks. So I don't really know how much of a part that will play. I'm sure, Nice, if they get the same bid from Bayern Munich than they do from Manchester United, then they can just reject the Bayern Munich one and accept the United one. But then again, if the player wants to go to Bayern Munich and doesn't want to go to Manchester United, then he can just say, no, I'm not leaving. And I'll run down my contract and I'll go to Bayern whenever that is up. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. Did you hear Bayern interested in Maguire? Maybe I'm wrong, says Niall. Yeah, we done it this morning, Niall, on the morning news show. Go check it out once we're finished here. I spoke a little bit about it. A potential swap deal with Harry Maguire and Matthijs de Ligt. Now, again, I don't know what truth is in that, but we do know that Bayern have signed Eric Dyer on a short-term loan deal as well. So if that expires in the summer, maybe it is an option there. But I mean, Harry Maguire, Bayern Munich can have him. Give us De Ligt instead any day of the week. Absolutely any day of the week. But guys, look, we're going to leave it there. I do appreciate you watching. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already done so. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel as well. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers, trying to get to 10,000 before the end of the season. So please do smash the like button if you're new. Go check out the morning news show as well. I'll be back then on Monday morning again, guys. Enjoy the weekend off. No game for Manchester United, but we'll be keeping up to date with all the other Premier League games that are going on. I'll be back on Monday morning with the morning news show as always, and we'll see you then at 8 o'clock Monday night for the usual transfer news show as well. But guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and I'll chat to you Monday. Take it easy.